Imagine a world where your secret identity is exposed to billions, turning you from a beloved hero into a public enemy overnight. Your friends and family are targeted, their futures jeopardized simply by knowing you. This is the reality Peter Parker faced, a reality so desperate it forced him to seek help from the most powerful sorcerer in the universe, leading to an unthinkable ripple through time and space. Welcome back, cinematic explorers, to a deep dive into the multiverse-shattering events of Spider-Man: No Way Home. We're about to break down every pivotal moment, every emotional beat, and every heroic sacrifice in this epic conclusion to a beloved trilogy. So, grab your web shooters and get ready, because this is one recap you won't want to miss. Before we swing into action, a huge thank you to everyone who watches, likes, and shares these videos. Your support means the world to us. The film opens immediately after the events of Far From Home, with J. Jonah Jameson's broadcast exposing Spider-Man's secret identity as Peter Parker to the entire world. Jameson's sensationalist reporting paints Peter as a villain responsible for Mysterio's death and the London attack. Chaos erupts, and federal agents from the Department of Damage Control raid Peter's apartment, questioning him, Aunt May, Happy Hogan, MJ, and Ned. MJ, ever sharp, quickly demands a lawyer for herself, asserting her rights against the intrusive questioning. Ned, during his interrogation, proudly declares his role as Spider-Man's guy in the chair, attempting to assert his importance but only implicating himself further. The agents threaten May with child endangerment charges for her involvement with Peter's vigilantism, creating immense pressure on the family. Luckily, Happy Hogan calls in an exceptional lawyer, Matt Murdock, who swiftly gets Peter and his friends acquitted of the legal charges, showing off his enhanced senses by effortlessly catching a brick. However, Murdock warns them that while legal troubles may be over, the court of public opinion remains a formidable challenge. The family is forced to move into Happy's luxurious but temporary apartment, which Peter quickly accesses by deactivating the security system. Life becomes unbearable as Peter, MJ, and Ned face constant public scrutiny, media harassment, and even protests at their school, Midtown High. Reporters hound MJ with inappropriate questions about Spider Babies, while Flash Thompson tries to capitalize on the situation by claiming to be Spider-Man's best friend. Flash even publishes a book called Flashpoint about his supposed friendship with Peter, further highlighting the bizarre new reality. The trio's dreams of attending MIT are shattered when their applications are rejected due to the controversy surrounding Peter. Peter contemplates a fresh start in Boston, joking about wicked crime there, but the disappointment weighs heavily on all of them. Desperate, Peter visits Dr. Strange, who is now the Sorcerer Supreme due to Wong being off-world during the blip. Peter asks Strange to cast a spell that would make everyone forget he is Spider-Man, despite Strange's initial reluctance due to their past tampering with space-time. Strange proposes the dangerous Runes of Cough-Cold spell, a forgetting enchantment, but warns Peter about its risks. As Strange casts the spell, Peter repeatedly interrupts and modifies it, wanting certain people like MJ, Ned, and Aunt May to retain their memories. These interruptions cause the spell to go awry, making it unstable, and Strange is forced to shut it down, but not before it causes unexpected damage to the fabric of reality. Strange admonishes Peter, telling him the problem isn't Mysterio, but Peter's attempt to live two separate lives. He scolds Peter for asking to brainwash the world before even attempting to call MIT's admissions office. Peter tries to intercept the MIT Vice-Chancellor at the airport but is interrupted when Dr. Octopus, also known as Otto Octavius, attacks the bridge. During the fight, Octavius rips off Peter's nano-suit, thinking it's his fancy new suit, and threatens to kill Peter's little girlfriend, triggering Peter's rage. Octavius is confused by Peter's new suit and enhanced abilities, realizing this isn't the Spider-Man he knows. Peter manages to subdue Octavius by integrating his tentacles with the Iron Spider nanotech, gaining control over them, but soon encounters another returning villain, Green Goblin, revealed as Norman Osborn. Strange explains that Peter's botched spell pulled in individuals from other universes who know Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Strange tasks Peter, MJ, and Ned with capturing these multiversal trespassers before they cause irreversible damage to their reality. Strange gives Peter a magical box, the Machina D Catavis, meant to send the villains back, and locks him in the mirror dimension to do so. Ned discovers he can use his tinglings and his Lola's sling ring to open portals after practicing with it. Peter, MJ, and Ned use their phones to Scooby-Doo this shit by finding news reports of unusual sightings across the city. They track down Electro, Max Dillon, Sandman, Flint Marko, and Lizard, Kurt Connors, and bring them back to the Sanctum. Aunt May finds a disoriented Norman Osborn at her FAST shelter, where he sought help after seeing Spider-Man in an ad. Osborn is struggling with his Green Goblin persona, exhibiting signs of mental distress and memory loss. Peter, conflicted, initially wants Strange to send the villains back to their universes, even if it means their death, but May convinces him that they deserve help and a second chance. The villains confront each other and learn that they all died fighting Spider-Man in their respective universes, shocking them and reinforcing the idea of their shared fate. Electro recalls being stuck in the grid and about to die, emphasizing the tragic circumstances of his original demise. Peter, now convinced they can be cured, steals the Machina D Catavis from Strange, trapping Strange in the mirror dimension in the process. Peter outsmarts Strange by using his knowledge of geometry to exploit a weakness in the mirror dimension, allowing him to escape. Peter and his friends plan to cure the villains at Happy's apartment, with MJ and Ned insisting they are in this together and won't abandon him. Norman Osborn mocks Peter's makeshift lab in Happy's kitchen, questioning his ability to perform miracles in a condominium. The Green Goblin persona fully reasserts itself within Norman, rejecting the idea of being fixed and manipulating the other villains to embrace their powers. Goblin taunts Peter, asserting that his weakness is morality and his desire to help people. The Goblin attacks, throwing a bomb and critically injuring Aunt May, before fleeing. In her dying moments, Aunt May imparts the classic Parker family motto to Peter: with great power, there must also come great responsibility. Peter is devastated, cradling May as she dies, blaming himself for her death. Jonah Jameson's broadcast further demonizes Spider-Man, fueling public hatred and calling him a coward for hiding his identity. Ned, distraught, accidentally uses the sling ring to open a portal, wishing he could see Peter, and summons not one, but two other versions of Peter Parker. The other Peter Parkers, played by Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, arrive, confirming the multiverse theory. Peter number 2, Andrew Garfield, recounts the death of his Uncle Ben, and Peter number 3, Tobey Maguire, shares his similar experience, as well as the loss of his Gwen Stacy. Peter number 2 admits that after Gwen's death, he stopped pulling my punches and became bitter, urging the grieving Peter number 1, Tom Holland, not to make the same mistake. Inspired by his alternate selves and May's final words, Peter number 1 decides to go through with the plan to cure all the villains. The three Peters, now united, work together to create cures and anti-serums for Electro, Sandman, Lizard, and Green Goblin. They share light-hearted moments, discovering their shared experiences and powers, with Peter number 1 remarking he always wanted brothers. Peter number 3's organic web shooters fascinate the other two, who have to make my own in a lab. Peter number 1 reveals he was an Avenger, a concept unknown to the other Peters, leading to a hilarious exchange about bands. Peter number 1 publicly calls out the villains, luring them to the newly reconstructed Statue of Liberty, promising them a chance at a cure but also threatening them if they refuse. The three Spider-Men battle the villains, coordinating their attacks and using their combined strengths to administer the cures. Electro, after being cured, comments on Peter number 2's nice face, and expresses his previous expectation of a black Spider-Man. Otto Octavius is also successfully cured, and his inhibitors are restored, allowing him to regain control of his arms and his sanity. The Green Goblin, however, remains a formidable threat, as Norman Osborn has lost his original cure. The Goblin brutally attacks Peter number 1, gloating that Peter himself is responsible for May's death. Enraged and overcome with grief, Peter number 1 attempts to kill the Goblin with his own glider, mirroring the Goblin's original death in Peter number 3's universe. Peter number 3 intervenes, taking a stab from the Goblin's glider, preventing Peter number 1 from making a tragic mistake, while Peter number 2 comforts the injured Peter number 3, joking, "I've been stabbed before." Doctor Strange, now freed, reveals that the corrupted spell is still pulling more individuals from other universes into their reality, and the only way to stop it is to cast a new spell, one that makes everyone forget Peter Parker exists. Peter number 1 makes the ultimate sacrifice, agreeing to erase himself from everyone's memory, including MJ and Ned's, to save the multiverse. He shares a tearful goodbye with MJ and Ned, promising to find them again and make them remember him. MJ, sensing the impending memory wipe, tells him she loves him, but Peter asks her to wait and tell him when they meet again, a heart-wrenching moment of true sacrifice. The spell is cast, resetting the universe, and Peter Parker is forgotten by all. Weeks later, Peter is living alone in a small apartment, piecing his life back together, and still attempts to approach MJ and Ned. He visits MJ at her new job, and she shares her philosophy of expecting disappointment to avoid getting hurt, unknowingly echoing Peter's own past struggles. Peter decides not to reintroduce himself, choosing to protect them from the dangers that come with knowing him, and instead embraces his role as the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. In a post-credits scene, Eddie Brock, Venom, is seen in a bar in Peter number 1's universe, learning about the Avengers and other heroes. He and Venom are suddenly sent back to their own universe by strange spell, leaving behind a piece of the symbiote. The final post-credits scene teases Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, showing Strange seeking Wanda Maximoff's help, only for her to tell him that the greatest threat to their universe is him. And there you have it, folks, the complete, emotional, and action-packed journey of Spider-Man, No Way Home. What an incredible film, full of heart, heroism, and monumental sacrifices. If you enjoyed this recap, please hit that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more amazing movie content. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of the film, your favorite moments, or which Spider-Man's return excited you the most. Until next time, keep those webs swinging and your cinematic curiosity alive.